What is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and today we are going to be covering Ark of Osiris League. That's right, we are super hyped. We are super hyped to show you the very first round of the group stage of the playoffs, Season 2. There are some sweet matches that we want to watch. Honestly, there's so much that we want to watch, and we can't even look at them all at the same time. So we are going to jump between matches to cover the ones where we think there is the most action. And let's do a quick rundown of the matches that we are going to be looking at today. Now, if you like Rise of Kingdoms videos where we cover Ark of Osiris League, then you should like and subscribe. We made videos about Ark the moment that it came into the game, and we are still covering the top end of that game mode today. Consider subscribing. Now, if we get a look here at the teams that are going to be battling, we've got C9N against Hall of Fame. These two are actually in my own group. I will be battling against both of them, obviously not today, but over the course of the next 2 weeks. That is going to be exciting. So this first matchup, obviously, I have a very high level of interest in checking out. P.S. As I walk through these, leave a comment, or I guess chat, drop a comment into the chat of which of these matches you want me to be watching and you want to watch together. JWM 2 versus 96RZ Royals. Now, this is really interesting. The Royals are at 2.6 billion power. I believe last Ark of Osiris, they were at 2.2 billion power, and they kind of surprised a lot of folks coming out of nowhere into a stage of the playoffs that people thought was much further along than they could achieve based on their power. And I think what it goes to show is that the right strategy goes a really, really long way. That said, I expect JWM2 should bring the heat. They also are sitting at 2.9 billion power, which is huge. That is a matchup that could be very interesting to watch. V163 versus N3X. These are two alliances that I don't have a ton of familiarity with. However, sitting at 3.3 billion power, these are going to be good matches. And I'm totally about to sneeze, which is hilarious and awkward. Uno momento. While I go sneeze. Maybe. Oh my gosh. Whatever. It's early. I'm drinking some caffeine and I'm going to call it. I'm just going to say it's early, all right? We just woke up. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Ugh, mornings. Okay, let's keep going. Zero Tolerance and Rose. Now, this is an interesting matchup. Obviously, one has slightly more power than the other. If we look at the way people bet on this matchup, a lot of people thought Zero Tolerance was going to be the slam dunk winner. So it could be that Rose is going to be a really good bet and people are going to make a lot of Osiris coins. We will see which one of them pulls ahead and is victorious. Up next, oh my, UCS versus Overlord. Now this matchup should be really interesting. UCS did make it very far in the playoffs last season, and they've got more power. But power does not equate effectiveness in Ark of Osiris League. Overlord was the season champion last round, and I suspect they'll do very well. I have heard rumor that a lot of people actually have subsequently left OV, but I don't know how true that is, so I wouldn't put stock in it. If I'm a betting person, and we all are for this game mode, I think OV is a pretty solid place to bet your currency. Up next is OUO versus NCB. NCB, we know them from KVK as very fierce warriors. I suspect they'll do well, but they are at a power disadvantage here, so we'll see how that goes. Watch OV versus UCS, somebody says. JWM versus 96RZ. All right. Oh, yeah. And by the way, if you want to see us play at 1500 UTC, we aren't going to be streaming our own matchup. But we will be battling against the Frozen Empire. How many days do you play this game? You ever worry about playing too much? Me personally, no, because I make YouTube content. As a content creator, like, that's kind of the thing I do. So I'm good with it. Let's go and take a peek at my bets. We did some betting. Now, before you read into too much, like, oh, this is who Chisgule is gonna thinks is gonna win. Not necessarily. The way that you should be doing league betting, and I want to really emphasize this for a moment. The way that you should be doing league betting, for the most part, is picking the matchup where the odds are the best. And you may be thinking, well, Chisgule, like, if there's nearly 100% chance that the Alliance is going to lose, it doesn't matter what the odds are. I mean, that's one way to think about betting. But if you're going to get a 5-to-1 payout, then, like, look, if they've only got a 30% chance to win, you're still ahead. So you want to find the situations where people have undervalued one side or the other. And that doesn't mean you think they're going to win. You're placing a bet there in the hopes that they do win. Does that make sense? So in a matchup over here, like UCS versus OV, I think OV is going to win. But if UCS does win, I'm going to get so many coins, it's going to be fantastic. That's the way that we think about betting in this particular game mode. How is KVK? My kingdom is going to do KVK soon, and Alliance Wars, but just kingdom. So KVK is amazing. It is intense. It's fierce. It's complicated. It's a lot of fun. Are we using Artemisia for Ark League? Not yet. Check out my video yesterday where we unlocked Artemisia. We've got about 5 minutes, by the way. 5 minutes remaining until we enter into the game, which is very exciting. I'm in a kingdom that is 29 days old, and I want to invest my gems in Esong, but gonna unlock Richard. How many gems should I spend in his wheel? I mean, I would spin enough to hit at least the lowest tier, the 10 spot, giving you 5 extra sculptures. If you want to go further, it's up to you. But Esong is obviously the slam dunk pick, in my opinion, as a legendary commander to invest in first. Okay, so I bet on HOF. Even though I do think C9N is more likely to win. I bet on 96RZ, and I do think JWM2 is probably more likely to win. I bet on Rose, and I really don't know which of them is more likely to win, but I feel like that's a pretty good bet there. The odds are pretty solid. Although it is really interesting, since I bet last night, it looks like a lot of people kind of share this same mentality that I do. And kind of at the very last moment, they go bet on the side that is favored to lose, I guess, even though they don't think they should lose. Or they don't think the odds should be that stacked. All of them, Richard is gangbusters, says Buck the Warrior. Member of the channel, thank you for being a member. And I suppose I should take a moment and say, by the way, members of the channel, their name shows up in green. It makes it a lot easier to see your chats. You also get a little badge next to your name showing how long you've been a member. And in addition, you get access to a whole bunch of sweet emojis. Lude is my middle name. Thank you for the $2 super chat. What is your Ark of Osiris dream match? Ark of Osiris dream match? Gosh. What is my dream match? First of all, I'll say that I don't exactly dream of Ark of Osiris, but I do think about it a lot. My dream matchup, I mean, I'm thinking across all the kingdoms, because I'll just call attention for a moment. This is just our realm that we're covering for these matchups, okay? There is a whole another realm worth of matches. This is the whole other group of folks that are in here, but who would I put against each other? Oh, how's this for an answer? I have an answer. I'm not going to say this is my dream matchup, but I got a good one for you. How about this? tune in to our channel at 1900. That's right. We're going to be back streaming at 1900. This stream is just getting started. We're going to be here a while. But at 1900, we're going to stream again. Dragothian versus Legend Ronnie right here. That's right. That's right, baby. We got P245, that's Legend Ronnie, and 1AVG, that's Dragothian. They're going to be battling against each other. Yeah, that's going to be a fun match to watch. That is going to be a really fun match to watch. You're definitely going to want to tune back in for 1900. That's gonna be good, okay? So, is this my dream matchup? No. But will I be /popcorn the entire time? Yes. Yes, we will. Oh, baby. That's gonna be fun. That is gonna be fun. We've got only moments before these matches fire up. I'm not sure where we start. Which of these do we start? I mean, personally, I'll tell you what I should do. What I should do for this, from the standpoint of Ark League efficiency, is watch C9N versus Hall of Fame, because I'm going to be playing against both of them. That's the thing I really should do. But very tempting to watch the Royals match. Very tempting to watch the Overlord UCS match. Whew, those are probably the three that I would want to key into. So last chance, if you have a preference, which of these you want to see, this is the time to drop that into the live chat. Otherwise, we're going to make a choice here on our own and head right in. Chisgule, is a 5111 Alex good enough to bring to 60 for open field? Yeah, you could bring a 5111 Alex. The utility is pretty good. I would say, though, you should take them to 5-5. That would be much better. That would be much better. All right, that sneeze I saved up it's actually here, I think. Hold on. Be right back. Awful. Oh god, I'm late for the match. All right. OV H9 96RV OV. All right. Let's go check out OV. And yeah, Spartan or other people from my alliance and kingdom. I mean, I know we've got some people selected to go watch those matches, but let's turn this chat off. That could only get awkward. That could only get awkward, especially now that they know we're watching. Hey, Chisgule, what's happening with the massive update that's meant to have 2 new civilizations? Good question. Oh, a bunch of people actually want to see the C9-N matchup. That's interesting. Well, we definitely will cut over to that and see what's going on there. 96RZ, OV. Yeah. A lot of people want to see these different matchups. Well, we will cut between the different matchups and get a peek at them. We'll get a peek at them. For those of you who are not familiar with my channel and my content, we did battle against OV in Season 1 of Kingdom versus Kingdom. Kingdom versus Kingdom. I was in Kingdom 51. We got a bit ganged up on by Kingdom 50 and 52, which is where OV lives, and we got pinned into a corner. Oh boy, did we get pinned into a corner. Last time chat was on, it didn't go too well. Yeah, it definitely got pretty sloppy pretty quickly. Good morning, Chisgule. Love your channel. Well, thank you, Charlevine Neely. Much appreciated. 96RZ versus JWM2. You know, there's a lot of interest in these different matches. This was where we will start, and we'll go from there. Groggy, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. This is about to heat up in just a moment. 3, 2, 1. The playoffs begin in Ark of Osiris League Season 2. We're watching former season champion OV battling into the Titan Kingdom 2 UCS. At the start of this matchup, we expect that folks are going to be rushing to the different structures to capture them. The noteworthy structure is the obelisks. These obelisks are going to offer teleports, 5 a pop at capture, and then 1 teleport every 5 minutes after they've been captured. There's a 3-minute capture window after troops arrive to those structures, and from that moment, that they capture it, they will start to get points. There is an initial first occupation at the end of that 3-minute timer. In this case, it is a cool 100 points and 20 per minute for continuous occupation. So getting the first capture of those structures is very, very important, and holding them on an ongoing basis matters too. Not only for the teleports, but the points. Now, you know that the way to go get one of these structures is using T1 troops, the lowest tier of troops in the game. And that is because they move faster. And that is what we should be seeing over here with Cao Cao Primary running their way over to get to these structures very quickly. Now, you know from one of my previous videos that Cao Cao as a primary is one of the very fastest combinations in the game. Paired with him is most likely an Attila or a Khan, offering an additional 15% march speed to the 10 base that Cao Cao has to offer. And with that mobility tree, they are going to be flying down the battlefield. That said, there we go. There's the T1 troop about to, boom, make their way into the obelisk if we get our way over to the OV side of the battlefield, because, of course, who doesn't want to peep in on their strategy? We can see here that they are sending 2 troops. Now, that's fascinating. Was there a miscommunication somewhere? 2 people. Is this just like some redundancy, a little bit of a backup plan, or did somebody forget to get the outpost? It seems like there's something that could have been done more efficient here than was done, but like, look, they are the league champions, okay? They are the league champions, so if they're doing something, we should watch it to understand what they're up to. There go both of their marches into the obelisk. OV now has claimed their obelisks, but are slightly behind, now tying on the structure game. And I think they might have realized, hey, wait a minute, who's getting this outpost? Up in UCS, they are probably making their way to the center and to this outpost, which they are. There is the capture. They're going to make their way into the center of the battlefield, where they will be battling for the Ark of Osiris. That takes place in 9 minutes and 23 seconds. If you ever want to know where the Ark is or when the Ark will be there, upper left is where the Ark of Osiris icon is, with the timer to show you exactly when that will take place. We will be monitoring that closely. However, for now, the structure game is the thing that we're most interested in. That structure game is about to rip open in 110 seconds. The chase structure is, of course, the altar. The altar offers 750 points for first occupation and subsequently 150 points per minute, which is a lot of points to earn over the course of this matchup. If all you do is hold your altars and the enemy altars, you don't even need to get the Ark of Osiris. You can just sit back and win. The downside is that one of those is obviously on each side of the battlefield, and for you, it'll be harder to reach the opposing side of that battlefield. 80 seconds remaining until this sky altar becomes capturable, and what I'd like to see is marches from both sides start to gather around those structures, and holy McSwarm, look at that Shrine of War. Wow, UCS coming out to play hard on the bottom part of the map. A lot of people in that open field looking to tango, and some folks from OV making their way over, and by some, I mean almost as many, some faster than others. They know that altar is big, big, big points. If we cruise on over, there are other structures of import. The shrines matter tremendously, 400 points at initial capture and a cool 80 points per minute for ongoing holding of those structures. Now, the Shrine of Life is going to give you a healing speed boost, which is honestly negligible at this level of play. Look, you're going to play to win, baby. You're going to use whatever you got to use. You need speed ups? You don't care? These are the proper honey badgers of Rise of Kingdoms. They will pay what it takes. The more important structure is the Shrine of War, offering combat effectiveness. In 15 seconds, those structures become capturable. And it looks like some folks from Blue, UCS here, but a much larger presence from OV, and OV sees it. They see that they have the presence in the open field on the top part of the map, and so they're going to charge their way up toward UCS's Desert Altar. And if I were in red, I would take all these marches and say, excuse me, you're only going to bring 5 marches to defend the Desert Altar? That's fine. We'll take it. And that is what they're starting to do, making their way up there. They are even starting to, look at that, they are ignoring the open field combat going on here, and they're just making their way over to the altar to fight. And what is going on? Slight delay here to get the Shrine of Life for OV, but they've picked that up, and now the fun begins. Folks moving into the center of the bottom part of the battlefield to do some battle. John Wick and others making their way up there. And this is the point where teams are settling in. No fast, tricky maneuvers at the beginning of the battle. They are instead going to opt for clean fighting, and that is taking place now. OV realizing they have way too few people over here compared to what they may need. Starting to build a little more presence in the open field. UCS pushing up. This is going to be pretty hot. What we're looking for now is the rallies. Let's get a look at Rally Watch. UCS launching a rally from many cities. Holy jeez. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rallies? Wow, that is aggressive. 4 rallies from OV, and the rallies are now starting to march. What are they rallying? 6 things. I'm inclined to believe it's all the shrines, it's all the altars and the obelisks getting rallied. That is a lot of troops to commit to those different activities. This is about to get hot, and the first skill in use, Divine Aid, by both sides. Divine Aid going to offer, I believe, 5 teleports to each side as we see brawling taking place. UCS looking like they've got more presence, and their rally going through all of it, charging through all the mayhem to then arrive on the other side to battle into the Desert Altar. Attila Takeda at the helm as they go make their way into the first rally of this matchup. We've got a Richard the First as the captain for OV. Color me astonished. That's not the pick I would have expected. But OV tests, y'all. And if they're bringing Richard the First, they must know something that we don't, because that rally is getting beaten down, in part because of the swarm. And look at this. We see Ramses on the battlefield. Thank you, Kieran Kirby, for the $3 Australian super chat. Much appreciated. As this battle wages on, we're going to go look at a different position on the map because that seems to be fairly stable. What do we have over here? Huge combat. OV rally with Guan. Look at that. OV doesn't rally with just anything. If they're rallying Guan, they must think that's the best in the game right now, which is pretty exciting. Who's the secondary? Can we peep the secondary? I'm not sure I caught who that secondary is. I see Guan, and I'm not able to pick out from this mayhem the animation for the secondary because, I mean, this is pretty crazy. We see a Constantine on the defense, and that is a commander I would have expected. Constantine's got the support tree, and with that tree, you get Rejuvenate. 150 rage generated from every active skill. That's 300 rage for every round of skills, which is hugely effective in powering out the most important active skill of your commander for both the primary and secondary commander. 282 people watching live as OV battles into this Desert Altar. Whew. Wow. I'm now trying to catch up in the chat. A lot of opinions in chat about what's going to happen in this matchup. Drop your comments down below. Matchup is pretty tied up in this moment. And we see here, OV is swarming this structure very aggressively. Wow, that swarm is doing work. How many marches do we see here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 plus marches swarming the Desert Altar. Can Constantine hold? I don't think so. I don't think that many marches can be stopped. Obelisk taken by UCS. Wait. Whoa. Action all over the battlefield. Obelisk captured by UCS. Saladin at the helm. Folks in chat calling it a disaster. I don't know that I agree necessarily that it's a disaster. This could be fine, but with 52 seconds remaining, UCS may have just ninja'd the obelisk out from underneath OV. Old Chan trying to defend the structure, but he's only got 2 marches here to do it. That is not going to be enough. While we see OV taking the Desert Altar that should belong to UCS, as well as the Shrine of Life. However, in that process, they ended up losing their own Sky Altar. UCS in solid position around that Sky Altar, Richard I at the helm as the defending captain. And on the opposing side of the battlefield, wow, look at that. UCS has captured the Desert Altar as well. We're looking at a board that is very much in transition. I'm not going to call who I think is winning or losing because I honestly cannot figure out what the heck is going on in this matchup. It is rare to see so many structures change hands, and what I think is playing out here is that each side had a very offensive plan, and that is, looking like they did that at the cost of their own defense. You know, the thing about Ark of Osiris is that you've only got so many marches to send around onto the battlefield, and you got to make the most of what you're doing. You can only be in so many places. But speaking of being in so many places, where's OV? Where's OV? Are they forfeiting this arc? No. Indeed, it seems their plan all along was to capture the forward altar and then come from behind. Look at that, sneaking behind UCS in order to prevent them from bringing this arc back home. UCS sending reinforcements from both sides of the battlefield to convene in the middle, now battling into Fluffy, Bunny Fluffy. I see what you did there. And more folks from OV coming in from behind. Some of those marches full, but some of them looking really hurting. This is going to be interesting to see who takes this arc, and it looks like UCS might be the first to make the grab. Whoo, boy. Okay. This is getting exciting. I mean, this matchup, it's looking pretty even. In terms of the structure game, right now, UCS is ahead, but only slightly. But in terms of points per minute, they're about even. Holy jeez. All right. This we want to watch, but this is just going to be a madhouse for a while. It looks like, however, OV might be starting to get a little bit more presence here and start to control the center. I don't know. UCS is on the move with the arc. It's on its way headed toward the left-hand side of the map. It looks like they're going to try to cash that in at the Shrine of War, which has some more troops on their way over to try to help UCS losing control of the arc, which is not unexpected. The arc carrier takes 200% extra damage and moves 50% slower? They're a lot slower, so they're much easier to catch, and they are squishy AF. Over 300 people watching live as now the arc is picked up, this time by OV, only to be immediately dropped as the battle wages on in the center of the field, with UCS starting to look like they've got the dominant presence here. Now, what this means, if UCS is taking this arc, that means that OV needs to win the structure game in order to be ahead in this matchup. And what do we see for that structure game? Cruising in up top, Desert Altar under Swarm by Ende, who I believe is the leader of UCS, kicking them out of the Desert Altar. This means now that UCS is ahead on the structure game. However, the Sky Altar heavily under pressure by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 marches swarming the Sky Altar. That is a lot of troops battling into that structure. That converts over to OV, not too surprising. And the arc is on the move. The arc is on the move. UCS in control of the center of the match as they bring that arc toward their outpost. It doesn't look like OV's got anybody nearby to go and deal with this. Wow. I mean, we may be watching here. We may be watching the former champions. Get upset in the very first match. I mean, look Look, here it is. Here's the title. War drums being cast. Ah, we can see on the map it's on this part of the battlefield. That must be where the action is. Here we've got an OV rally battling into the Shrine of War. Another Guan rally. Very interesting. It's not a coincidence when OV leads with a certain type of rally. They've usually done their homework. What I find fascinating is that perhaps the homework we did showed a different pair than the homework they did. They're using Guan, and I can't even tell who the secondary is because those war drums are lighting up the screen. Holy jeez. Kaneki says, no, OV. Holy moly. Look at the dust storm. What is even happening here? I'll tell you what I see. What I see is UCS in control of this part of the battlefield and about to score the Ark of Osiris. One player, Mateo, making their way over to try to stall, but I don't know how effective that is going to be. They probably are still just going to capture this Ark, in part because, look, if you're going to try to stop this carrier, all these marches are going to snipe you on your way over, and you're just going to get wrecked. Here is Kaiser making their way in to now give UCS the lead in this playoff round. Spartan says, is OV overrated? Oh no. I'll say this. To underestimate OV would be a huge mistake. It would be a huge mistake, but I will say this UCS is looking pretty coordinated at this moment in time, and they still own the obelisk. What? 2 minutes and 50 seconds. It must have changed hands not once, but yet again. Uh-oh, people. OV currently looking like the end to try to take back this obelisk. Okay. UCS is taking out the former champions. Hopefully OV chances are not over yet. Oh boy. Chad is getting salty. As we take a sip of caffeine. Wow. UCS now losing the OV side obelisk as we settle in to the mid part of the game. Now, what I will call attention to is that, I was going to say that OV is winning the point game. However, UCS, with their aggressive gameplay, have now captured this Shrine of War that should belong to OV. Savage. That means that now they've got the extra 10% of stats. So if you think about this, they're actually 20% higher. And look at that. Divine Aid cast again for UCS. I wouldn't have expected that. Swift Stride now cast. Somewhere they care a lot about their march speed. Let's see if we can find where that is. Swarm in. UCS reclaiming their Shrine of Life. Point game for structures now even. However, will be in favor of UCS once those structures have fully converted over. Here we see some marches swarming the Shrine of Life. Not going to be successful. OV looking like they've got pretty solid control over that building. And more importantly, Desert Altar under pressure from Attila Takeda. That Richard I is looking pretty good. Do we have a battle report to see who's in there? We do not. No battle reports for us, unfortunately. Well, perhaps someone will send me one later, wink, so I can get a peek at that. OV will make a comeback. Chill, guys. Have trust, says the chat. Woo, baby. We've got an Attila Takeda rally getting freaking melted down by that Richard I captain. UCS equals underrated champions with the U and the C and the S and champions capitalized. Hilarious. Oh boy, chat's got stuff to say. As now, Shrine of War under pressure. We see UCS holding this structure successfully, although Guan Yu is the captain? Am I seeing this correctly? Guan Yu is the captain? Not my first choice. Let's take a sip of caffeine. 340 people chilling to watch Ark of Osiris. First thing in the morning where I am, but wherever you are, I hope you're having an awesome day as we cruise between the different structures in this matchup. I said we were going to switch around between matches. I did not expect this to be such a close match. I mean, this is really like blow for blow levels of craziness where like knockout punch after knockout punch is being delivered. Marcus Williamson, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. If we could get our other members to rock some hype emojis, welcoming Marcus to the channel. Good to have you here. And let's go get a look at another structure. We've got another altar under pressure. OV really seems to be in on that Guan Yu plan, although that might have just been a single march, not a rally. Here is a Ramses on the battlefield. I like the Ramses. I don't see enough marches here yet, though, for this to seem particularly efficient as a use of time. I'm going to go to a different part of the battlefield here. We've got... Okay. Guess we got to go back into the matchup. All right. And watch. There we go. OV taking the Ark much more seriously now with 2 minutes and 30 seconds until the first Ark becomes available, or I guess second Ark becomes available for capture. They are the only ones in that part of the battlefield, and it looks like we shifted from nighttime to daytime in Ark of Osiris. Time flies. Uh-oh. Let's close off the chat there. Oh boy. Oh boy, that floating chat. Some salty stuff being said. It's a pound for pound battle worth watching. Thanks, Chis, for the live stream. You're very welcome. Sorry I can't seem to keep the live stream live here. We'll reopen this thing and make our way back into the matchup in just a second. Oh, we've got this, baby. We've got this. We'll cast the heck out of this match. Is it just me, or is Ramses riding a ram? I mean, that's kind of funny. Osiris League, let's go, baby. Watching and UCS matchup. Thank you very much. We're back in. We're back in. OV still in control of the center. 1 minute and 20 seconds till that first Ark spawns. OV pushing up the battlefield, pushing UCS out of that part of the field. And look at the number of structures that are flashing on the side of red. 4 major structures under pressure from UCS. They are fully on the offense, baby. They are out for blood as they take a huge stance on the Shrine of Life, where, again, we see a defense that I don't quite understand. Is Guan a garrison commander and I just didn't know about it? What is happening here? What is happening here? Shrine of Life taken down for UCS, and, look at the pressure of this swarm along with Attila Takeda. This structure is in some trouble. That is for sure. Look at all these marches here battling around the desert altar, and 24 seconds until the Ark spawns in the middle. Mystical formation being cast by, wow, both sides. Both of those are in the center. There seems to be consensus here that mystical formation is worth using, which is certainly noteworthy. I hope you're taking some notes here, because I know I'm taking some notes on Post-its around what we should be using. Looks like they're big fans of mystical formation in the center, and they are duking it out. But what I want to call attention to is the forward positioning of OV enables them to grab the Ark. John Wick on the move with Richard the First. Okay, not the carrier I expected. Probably not even the carrier they necessarily want right now. Cavalry March Speed would be looking real good. However, this forces UCS to make their way over, and what OV is going to do is pick them off as those troops make their way over to go get to the Ark. Smart maneuver, and UCS going to try to take down this carrier as fast as they can so they don't have to battle into such unfavorable conditions. Oh, sneezing coming. Pardon me. Mornings. All right. Battle continues on here. John Wick carrying the Ark as he makes his way down the battlefield. Mysterious merchant arriving in my city. I've got sweet deals on my way later. And this is interesting. What I'll say is that OV needs to get this Ark to stay in this match in a serious way. They have to get this Ark. They certainly cannot let UCS get the Ark. But, I don't know that UCS has the presence right now to actually take this structure because they are putting to take this Ark because they're putting so much pressure in the rest of the battlefield. There is so much pressure in the rest of the battlefield right now. UCS is just taking both altars. They took the other Shrine of Life. I mean, the structure game is 120 points per minute for OV to 590 points per minute for UCS. Oh boy, that is not looking good for OV. They've done the thing they needed to do, which is get the Ark, but the cost seems to be too great. The cost seems to be too great. They're losing too many structures as they do this. They are down to 40 points per minute. 40 points per minute. Richard carrying and Guan as a garrison. Yeah. That is what we saw. That is what we saw. Yikes. All right, give me just a second here. One moment. Gonna make a few adjustments to this. All right. That Ark is chilling in the middle. OV has taken back their Shrine of Life. Their Shrine of War is still under contention. They are moving the Ark in the right direction, and they're going to make their way slowly back into the structure game. They just need to convert more of those structures back over before they'll be able to start getting points from them. So UCS making a slick move here, attacking structures so aggressively around the time that they knew that OV had to go for the Ark, and that is what they did. They went for the Ark. They've got it now. UCS still holding up so many of those players in the middle of the map. Yikes. Is Guan or Ramses good for a 5-5-1-1? Guan doesn't need to be 5-5 because the second skill is related to attacking garrisons. I would take Guan to like 5-1-1-1 and go from there. Ninja Chisgule. Hiya! We're back. 393 people watching as John Wick carries the Ark with an Ethelfled. Not the cavalry commanders we were looking for, but probably the only commander that was on the field and was there to take the darn thing at that moment. Hey, look, Ethelfled's got legs too. She can move the Ark too, and that's what she's doing, headed toward this outpost. Now, because OV is behind in both the structure game and the Ark game, they need to capture this Ark as fast as they can so that they can try to get another Ark after this one. That is going to be absolutely critical to their success. Guan, fourth skill is the one you want, says the last Spartan. Authority on infantry. In Spartan we trust. Buck the Warrior offering me a tea emoji. I will take you up on that tea emoji and have a sip of tea. John Wick from KVK 3. No, not that John Wick. It's not that John Wick. I think that's a character from a movie, so a lot of people use that name. And if we head on over to the Shrine of Life, Rally from OV getting deflected, we see Jigglypuff, Snorlax, and Charmander. Are you serious? Are you serious right now? The Pokemon Squad. The Pokemon Squad getting fired back as War Drums hits the battlefield. Why in this part of the battlefield were War Drums used? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you, possibly a fat finger. I don't see a compelling reason for those War Drums. Yep. Score now a lot closer. This is still anybody's match. 17,600 to 15,000, and Valiant Stand used defensive ability on the Desert Altar Constantine Primary, Bogged Down, being used to reduce the march speed on another part of the battlefield. This is a pretty interesting time and place to use Bogged Down. I'm not sure I see the strategic value of slowing people here, but that is where it's been cast. Come on, OV, you can do it, says Prathik. Watch C9N versus Hoff, says Yusuf. You know, I don't know that we can go anywhere. Former champions, OV, Season 1 champions. Their name is on the Temple of Osiris. Right now, down on points, battling into UCS. Now, some people may be thinking, oh, this game is over. My friends, that could not possibly be further from the truth. OV knows what they're doing. They test aggressively. They plan aggressively. They probably think that this is all going mostly according to plan. So I do expect some sweet moves from OV to get this last arc and to potentially propel them into the lead. The question is, how much preparation has UCS done, and is it going to be enough? That is what we're going to find out as Attila Takeda battling into the Shrine of War with yet again Richard I as a captain. I don't understand the Richard captain. Who's the secondary? Richard and... who's the secondary? They're using Wu Zetian as the secondary commander? Wow. I mean, what? Richard I and Wu Zetian. Oh, really? Oh, really? I bet all my Oryx on Smash Squad, says Hellblazer. Thank you for the support. 25 minutes left. Game on. It's a Richard Wu. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. I mean, folks might need to go look into Richard Wu, because OV, they know their stuff. And that Attila Takeda rally, I mean, this result is pretty compelling for an Attila Takeda defeat, isn't it? That is a pretty compelling defeat, wouldn't you say? Madara Los says OV might win with the provisions. You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let's get a look at where the provisioning is happening. If at all. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 provisions at least happening right now. Is that 5 or is that the 4th? I think that was the 4th. There are provisions happening. There are provisions happening. What are provisions? These silly looking camels are actually caravans containing reserves. You send your gathering commanders or your fighting commanders, go get those reserves and bring them back home. If you do bring them back home, you get big points, and it may just be enough points to tip over this matchup. Now almost 20,000 points for UCS. The underdog in this fight, but overdog by power, versus OV, former season champions for Arc League Season 1, now sitting at 17,000 points. They are down on points in this matchup as 450 people watch live as this unfolds. rally in. Another Guan rally into the Desert Altar. That rally getting swarmed down and made ineffective up at the Shrine of Life. Another Guan rally led by Charmander. Pokemon team doing work, but not enough work. Onto the Shrine of Life, and down below, Attila Takeda led by Saberi M on the Shrine of Life. And look at that. Richard the First primary is looking pretty saucy at this moment in time, with Ramses from Pedro Justin beating in on Subarian. This is going to be a close matchup, and it will be determined by the Ark of Osiris. 590 points per minute for UCS and 350 points per minute for OV. Now, with 20 minutes remaining in the matchup, you can get a cool, what would that be? That would be a 4,000 point lead. That would be a 4,000 point additional lead that UCS will claim from the structure game unless OV takes some pretty serious action here. And that is in part because this Desert Altar is a big point building, and it belongs to UCS right now, and it should be in the hands of OV. More action in on these structures. UCS playing that structure game, living that structure life, but beaten down. Sky Altar defense with Guan Yu. What? Guan Yu defense. We are seeing that correctly. Guan Yu defense cleaning up the swarm, silencing the swarmers here. Bog Down being cast by UCS. Let's go to that part of the battlefield. It is by the Temple of Osiris. 1 minute and 10 seconds until the Ark spawns in. This is going to be the Ark that decides the game. UCS up to 620 points per minute. Killing it in this structure game. OV must get this Ark to win this matchup. They have to do it. With 19 minutes remaining, that is more than enough time for this center battle to get completely out of hand. To the death being cast on the battlefield in this part of the field. I honestly don't even know what that does, and I don't know why it was cast. I see a bunch of OV people looking all glowy, but I don't see anybody to attack. I feel like that skill maybe needed another 20 to 60 seconds of waiting before popping, although I don't know what it does, so I guess that's not fair for me to say. Assuming it's combat related, OV is all in on taking this Ark as UCS now arriving into this glowing swarm of players from OV. Do they get eliminated if they lose? They do not. It is the top two from this group stage that will advance. Pardon me. Sneeze possibly incoming. Uno momento. Sneezing is the worst. All right. We're fine. Mystical Formation now being cast on behalf of, I think, OV. They are really all in on buffing up their troops in the center now, and they have to be. They have to get the Ark, and the carrier's on their way. John Wick using Richard the First again, infantry, and to the death being cast by, it must be UCS now, and it is. They are fighting hard for this Ark. It's going to take 7 minutes for this carrier to make it because he's so slow. John Wick losing control of the Ark as the battle in the center rages on. We're looking at a 2,500 point difference. 3,500 point difference between OV and UCS. I mean, we're down to one Ark to win it. And UCS is asking the question to the former champions, Overlord, can you capture this Ark? Can you do it? Because if you can, you will win the match. But if you can't, then we are going to take this prize. Now, the way this group stage works, Mystical Formation now being cast by UCS. I feel like this is really good timing for that, given how intense the battle is. But look at that. John Wick getting away with the Ark. He's getting away with the Ark. Holy jeez. John Wick is on the move using none other than El Cid. El Cid, for the march speed, when he's below 50%, he goes, 25% faster? And El Cid is down. El Cid is down, and other folks here to battle. OV having huge presence in the part of the field. And what I'll say is that UCS is not taking a bunch of OV's structures right now. OV needs to both hold structures and get the Ark. UCS has some options. If UCS totally wrecked the structure game while OV overcommits in the middle, then they could be in really good shape. That's not what's happening, though. Instead, we see a structure up top, Shrine of Life, being taken by OV. Taken by OV. Okay. This part of the battlefield looking pretty crazy. It's hard for me to say who is gonna be more in control here, but I do think OV seems to have a slight edge in the center, and they're rocking the structure game really cleanly. 15 minutes and a 4,000 point differential. This is still anybody's game. As we climb to over 482 live viewers as the former champions, OV, fight hard in the center. 15 minutes remaining. They must capture this Ark. To win the matchup. Now, what happens? If they do not win this matchup? Right now, we're in the group playoff stage. What that means is that the top 2 of the 4 alliances in each group will advance. So it is possible that someone could lose this match and still advance if they win everything else. But you don't want to be in that position. Here we have another skill being used. I didn't quite catch what it was. Let's see if I can peek it in my replay. I'm not seeing it. That's okay. Another skill being used. OV looking to control the center, and the ninja, John Wick, with Minamoto. Now some fast-moving cavalry. Finally, some fast-moving cavalry taking this Ark, and you can see they are hoofing it down the field. In 1 minute, they are going to capture this Ark, and there is only one UCS player nearby. That player going in onto the Ark, but getting swarmed pretty intensely. No, they've targeted the wrong player. TGI targeting the wrong player. Another Ethelfled, Glory Light God, trying to catch up to John Wick, but John Wick with his cavalry is looking too fast. They are too fast. I'm not sure if they can get caught here. And if they can't, OV could pull ahead of this match. They're chasing the Ark, but look at that. There's not enough people nearby. OV controls the field. Oh my goodness. Look at this. John Wick now taking some heat from a player, but they can't keep up. They're getting swarmed down. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, John Wick took that Ark, broke out of the pack, and is going to cap it. I think he's going to cap it. Oh my gosh. John Wick is a good Ark player, says Casey. Well, the Ark is in, and OV is ahead. OV is pulled ahead. 12 minutes remaining. The only way for UCS to win now is the structure game. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Wow, what a clutch maneuver. As the Shrine of War changes hands for OV2. Oh my goodness. For those who doubted, do you now believe in the champions from Season 1? Swarm in on the Desert Altar. They're going to take that back, but man, it's a little late for that. As well as up top, Swarm and rally in, but looking pretty inadequate against Guan Yu as a captain. But I'm just saying, is that such a bad captain? Is that such a bad captain? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that's such a bad captain. Here we see more swarming. What is this Guan captaining thing? It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Oh my goodness. Wow. 26,200. No. UCS has in fact pulled ahead on points. I don't know how that happened. It was very sneaky and subtle, but they're ticking up just a smidge faster. UCS slightly ahead on points now. OV controlling the structure game just barely. Just barely. This is close. This is real close. Holy jeez. Wow. All right, hold on. Hold on. Swarm in on the structure here. I don't know if they can get this. I think they've got enough. UCS is going to take back their Shrine of Life. But they need to be super aggressive here. And Bog Down being cast. Where is it? Right here, baby. There's the Bog Down. I don't know if I'm in on that Bog Down life, but I mean, if it works, it works. Holy jeez. Look at this. All right, Desert Altar under huge amounts of pressure with 9 minutes remaining in this matchup. Huge pressure from UCS. UCS sitting at 27,000 points, 200 on top, 26,000 points, 860 on top for OV, but OV sitting at a cool 60 point per minute lead over UCS. This is going to be super close. Richard I at the helm here. The thing that's so powerful about Richard I is that he reduces all damage taken by 15%. But the thing I find myself really questioning is why Richard I primary? They must really believe so strongly in the infantry tree over the leadership tree offered by Wu Zetian to be using Richard I and Wu Zetian. But what I also find really curious is the combination that they're using with the Guan and with the Richard, right? Because it seems like maybe they're using the Guan to try to beat out small swarms. Like they swap to a Guan captain when there's just a few marches left and they want to beat them down. And they use the Richard captain when they're dealing with like a tough fight. Do you see what I mean? We're gonna have to keep our eyes on this because this is pretty compelling. 27,865 points for UCS at 510 points per minute to 27,634 points for OV at 530 points per minute. I don't know who's gonna win this. I don't know who's gonna win this. It's over. UCS has the game locked right now. I don't know that that's true. But if they take this altar, right now from OV, if this altar falls, OV will likely fall. And there it is. UCS takes the altar. Huge problem for OV for their points per minute. OV has pressure in on this Desert Altar. It's not enough. Ooh, but the Shrine of Life. This Shrine of Life is under huge pressure from OV. Oh my goodness. OV is down to 300 points per minute right now. Even if they take this Shrine of Life, it's not enough of a point deficit. It's not enough of a point deficit. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, I'm not sure the last Ark could decide this matchup. It certainly is enough points. But can you carry an Ark? Can you carry an Ark in 4 minutes? Can you carry an Ark in 4 minutes? Or will this be a provision battle? Is it going to come down to provisions? Could it be? 570 people watching live as we see the tail end of this matchup. Here's another rally on its way. Wait, nope. Thought it was a rally, but it's not. What do we got here? Desert Altar looking pretty clean. Shrine of War under pressure, but man, that Richard primary, Wu secondary, people are going to need to look into that one. People are going to need to look into that one. And structure game looking real good for UCS. Battle over here at the Sky Altar looking pretty fierce. Pretty fierce with 1 minute and 37 seconds left for this structure before it starts making points for UCS. The thing that OV is really trying to do right now is to just take the darn thing back so they can't get points per minute. They're not really going to get a lot of points per minute for themselves by taking this back. They're mostly denying UCS from getting points per minute. There is Bog Down being used on a different part of the battlefield. And yes, indeed, OV has taken back this structure. Wow. Wow. It looks like we are seeing UCS pull away in the points per minute game. However, we see rally in on the Desert Altar. No kidding. No kidding. That Attila Takeda is doing work. Reinforcements arriving desperately to reinforce. Whoo, this is intense. UCS is looking ahead. Where did I put my coins? I'm pretty sure I put a small number on UCS. Pretty sure I did because the odds will be really good for the payout. Here we see the battle going on. Desert Altar looking like it's in pressure and in trouble. Y'all discounting provisioners. Gecko Gaming MVP showing up in the chat. The provision advocate himself showing up in the chat. Whew, I can't keep my eyes off this screen. This is looking pretty nuts. Are they going to get this Desert Altar? And if they do, is it even enough to matter? 510 points per minute. 510 points per minute for UCS. 360 points per minute right now for OV. The pressure is real. And OV pulling together to fight back the swarm and the rally on the Desert Altar. Wow. Unbelievable defense here. There are still a couple marches from UCS. I don't know that they're going to be enough. And the Ark is in the center, and it's on the move. Oh my goodness. UCS is hoofing it with that Ark. 36 seconds till they capture the Ark. Am I seeing that correctly? OV sees the problem. This one player in on the action to try to delay it. Oh my goodness. Ark is on the move. Ark is on the move. 25 seconds until it arrives at its destination, but they're under huge pressure from a Khan march. However, it is getting swarmed, but more marches arriving. More marches from OV arriving to the battle, but Ted still carrying the Ark. 1 minute and 25 seconds till he arrives at his current targeted destination. He is hoofing it as now Saladin weighs in and says, no, sir, not with my Ark. That Ark under huge pressure, and Saladin is able to take down the carrier. Saladin now taking down the carrier. UCS left scrambling as more OV marches arrive to that part of the battlefield. Someone else is going to have to pick that thing up with 2 minutes remaining to score the Ark. The score, 32,700 to 32,186. Those people doing provisions, if they are going to turn around and cap them, are going to have to do that real soon. Ark is on the move again. This will be the nail in the coffin in this matchup against the former Season 1 champion. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. OV is now ahead on points per minute for structures, but there's not enough minutes left in this matchup for this to matter. And here comes a mass of players from OV, war drums being cast to increase attack. And it looks like, no, is that Herman carrying the Ark? Why is there a Herman on the battlefield? Why is there a Herman? Mythical formation being cast, now increasing defense. And Ark is down. 1 minute remaining. Ark is down. UCS is ahead. 34,000 to 32,700. Will provisions be the difference maker? Will that matter? I don't know that it is. UCS Ninja grabbing the Ark again. And Kaiser on the move with Saladin. He doesn't have far to go to get to the outpost. He doesn't have far to go. Kika trying to knock him down. 15 seconds till it caps. Can they take out this carrier? Or in 10 seconds. Oh, no. They captured the structure. They walked into the structure. OV took it. OV took the structure, 34,300 points to 33,900 points. Those caravans have got to be arriving back home with provisions now. There's only a 500-point gap between these players. The Ark has nowhere to go. 9 seconds remaining. The Ark has nowhere to go. 34,500 to 34,000 flat. Wow, UCS is going to take this matchup. There it is. Wait. Hold the phone. MVP, UCS, end day, and UCS victory. Holy jeez. Season 1 champions upset in the playoff round 1. Unbelievable. Wow, such good gameplay all the way around. 580 people watching live as the Season 1 champions were upset. 7,500 points of Arks for OV. You can see they were in on the Ark game, but the structure game proved superior. 27,596 points for UCS. Wow. Provision score was about even for them both. About 4,000 points a pop. And you can see that UCS was literally killing it on the battlefield. I mean, killing it on the battlefield. 37 million kills to 30 million kills. That is the story right there in the stats, people. UCS controlled the field, and that helped them to win. Wow. Wow. Both sides doing a non-trivial amount of healing. Almost every single player from UCS teleported. Pardon me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an insane matchup. Congratulations to UCS. Well played by both OV and UCS. Much respect to both of you for that insane matchup. Thanks for letting us watch. We really enjoyed it. That was pretty freaking incredible. I mean, can we get some freaking hype and cheer and excite emojis for both sides for incredibly well played, exceptional gameplay? Because that was nuts. I had a lot of fun watching that. I don't know about y'all, but that was freaking amazing. That was freaking amazing. Now, what's next? For those of you who want more Ark of Osiris action, consider, wait a minute. Sorry, you've encountered an unknown error. Well, that's very awkward because I've got a game to go play in an hour. So let me just talk through it. Consider watching the 1500 matchups. We're not going to be casting 1500 because we are going to be playing 1500. So you're not going to want to miss that. Only 300 or so people get to spectate each matchup. So consider coming on in to spectate. We're going to be playing, assuming we can even get into Osiris League, which is really awkward. But if you don't come back to just watch that matchup at 1900 UTC, 1900 UTC on this channel, we will be streaming two content creators battling head-to-head, Dragothian versus Ronnie. I mean, this is going to be a hell of a matchup as well. Come on back at 1900 to watch. We need to go and get ready for our own matchup. So we're going to head out. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I see 72 likes on this video. We got 600 people that were watching. Throw a like on this if you enjoyed it at all. Consider subscribing if you're into Ark of Osiris. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. See you at 1900, people.